Ambassador, thank you so much for being our show. So Ambassador, this will be your first time to attend China's 2 sessions. So how was the feeling beyond the sport, and what key topics or the policy directions that you are most concerned about this time?
One of the first impressions that I had was the very large magnitude of the whole event, these 2 sessions, with a massive participation of almost 3,000 delegates, and by the fact that this consultative process was extremely wide. And I think that they have collected very valuable information and very important suggestions of different entities and even ethnic communities that were represented, in the consultative and political conference of the Chinese people. It's a very important and democratic process. And of course, in the case of the 15th five-year plan, I think one of the most important themes that we should emphasize, for example, this idea of continue supporting the these new productive forces or a development of high quality. And the second one is the fact that the five-year plan is very interested in supporting very actively the enlargement of domestic consumption here in China. So a sort of domestic consumption-driven growth, economic growth for China. And 2 specific issues that are very important for Peru, taking into account our bilateral relations. One is to ensure very high levels of well-being for Chinese citizens, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of children care, in terms of care, elderly people, And the other issue that is particularly important for my country is food security and energy security, but particularly food security for the Chinese people, because we are very large exporters of agricultural products to the Chinese market. So there is a very wide array of products that could be introduced in the Chinese market, taking into account the priorities of the five-year plan to reinforce our trade links with this very important market.
This year marks the beginning of China's 15th five-year plan period, very important. So, as an ambassador, how would you evaluate the achievement of China in the past 5 years? Like, what areas do you think China did quite well in the past 5 years? And looking ahead, what areas do you think China will continue to make more results in the next 5 years?
Well, one area in which China has reached a very high level of development, perhaps one of the highest levels globally speaking, is infrastructure. You have the largest network of high-speed trains in the whole world, and for a country like mine that had a very large gap in terms of the development of our own infrastructure, this Chinese experience could be very useful. And the other issue in which China has achieved a very high level of development is without any doubt the new digital technologies. I have just arrived 3 months ago, but in these 3 months I have been involved in a lot of activities. I have received a lot of invitations, and I have been a witness of the very high level development of China in terms of robotics, for example, and in terms of quantum computing and artificial intelligence, and some of the digital applications that have been developed by China, such as DeepSeek. I think that this 5-year plan reveals that China has a very strong state capacity and a very important long-term model of development with a very stable political environment. China has decided to develop its own economy with Chinese characteristics. No, but there are some elements of this model that could be very interesting or useful to take into account by some other countries to adapt, of course, some of those elements to their own needs to develop their own economies. So I think China could be a very interesting example of how to develop a country in a very short period of time. But only in 4 decades or 5 decades. It's really impressive.